One thing we need to do in this module is define some very big concepts like stress and work stress and well-being. These words that people use a lot but don't really know what they mean when we look in some depth at them. And what I'm going to be doing is asking you to have a close look at the academic literature, what it says about stress and well-being in the workplace. And stress is perhaps one of the most difficult concepts to define. It's got a long history of people struggling to define what we mean in a psychological sense about stress. And to illustrate, could I just ask the class to give me some examples of how you use the word stress in an everyday sentence? Could you give me a couple of examples of that? Laura?
I'm feeling stressed today.
So I'm feeling stressed, thanks for that. So it's like stress is inside of you. It's inside of us. So we talk about stress as an inner response that we have. Anybody else got an example of how you might use stress in an everyday language? Jenny?
I feel very stressed out.
I feel very stressed out. And again, noticing that we're talking about something inside of us as well. Other ways that we might talk is, that was stressful, we might say, mightn't we? That assignment was stressful to do. And we're talking about stress as an external stimulus. So you see the challenge we've got. Sometimes we talk about it as a response inside of us. Sometimes we talk about it as a stimulus. So I'll show you how the academic literature gets around that when they use the word stress in a psychological sense. They're talking about stress as an organizing framework, or what's sometimes called a rubric. But basically a conceptual frame that gives you an idea of all the different things that we're referring to when we talk about stress. So the examples that we just had there, example I said, that was stressful, that's often labelled a stressor. It's something in the environment, particularly the work environment, that many people find causes them a stress response, an inner reaction. But to differentiate that, we talk about the response that we have inside of us as a strain. That's the outcome of a stress process. So the strains that we'll look at in this module are things like anxiety, depression due to stress, things like burnout we'll have a look at as well. But also in the workplace, absenteeism, low job satisfaction, these can all be defined as strains. Now importantly, in the middle are cognitive processes, because the same thing that causes me stress might not cause you stress. And the difference is the way that my mind interprets the event, how our minds differ. So in the middle, we have these appraisal processes, and they're often split into primary appraisal and secondary appraisal. Now, primary appraisal is essentially asking ourselves, is this going to cause me any harm or not? It's an unconscious process. We're not often aware that our minds are doing this, but they're constantly appraising things that happen to us. Sometimes we appraise things as a threat. So this is threatening my well-being or my ability to achieve my goals or even my physical state. It's threatening to me. We don't always see things as a threat. Sometimes we might appraise things as a challenge. Now, secondary appraisal is essentially asking ourselves, can I cope with this? Do I have the resources to cope with this? So this is what's going on outside of our awareness usually, and it decides whether any particular external event, like something that somebody says or a demand that we have at work or in our studies, is a stressor or not, is decided by our cognitive appraisal processes in the middle.